Evening, everybody. It's 6:23, and this is your closing comment for today, Tuesday, the 29th. And it's video number 1209. And I want to start off by showing you the oil, which moved down again into support, the same area as we were supported the last time we broke out to the upside and had a run from 95 to 130 in literally 5 days. So we came back down 2 weeks ago, right above this orange line, which is the 50-day moving average. We couldn't get back through this 116 area where we broke to the downside and turned back down. And today we traded as low as 98 and change. 98.44 was the low, and we closed at 104.24, still down $1.72, but nonetheless way up on the range. And tonight we're up another 87 cents. I waited until these things reopened because I wanted to show you this, and I wanted to show you the gold because, as I've mentioned before in the past, Dennis has been just absolutely absurdly accurate on this. And we were looking for a move back to about 1900. I discussed it this morning. I discussed it yesterday afternoon when we had broken down but tried to rally into the close. And today we hit that 1893.20 right on that same 50-day moving average and rallied all the way back to close about two-thirds up on the range, even though we were in fact down 26. And tonight we are up 770 again. We're still within today's range, but we'll see how that develops. And I want to remind everyone that Dennis has just been phenomenal for the past, well, he's been phenomenal for quite a while, but these first 3 months that end tomorrow, he's just been incredibly accurate, and I will bring you what his returns are tomorrow evening when I know what they are. Okay, as far as the stock market, we finished up 338, and it was a struggle. We were up as much as 460, came all the way back down to up only 85, and then turned back up, closing, as I said, up 338.30, or 0.9%, almost a full percent, 0.97. And advanced declines on the NYSE were 4-1, so very healthy. NASDAQ was up 264 again, 1.84%. S&P up 56.08, 1.23. The big winner again was the Russell, up 55.04, 2.65%, and that is particularly encouraging. Transports also higher, up 235 and three quarters, up 1.43%, but clearly the Russell, the big winner. The VIX closed down again. You have to realize the VIX has been in the 36-37 range several times this year, and even as late as last week, before the rally started, and has fallen all the way back to 1890, down 73, or 3.72%. So I've told you about the oil, I've told you about the gold. Bitcoin was basically unchanged, down 260, while Ethereum was a little higher. The dollar was down 68 cents, or 0.7%, back to 98.41, and the bonds were up about 1 3/8, and I believe that they're up again tonight. The reason that I mention that is, number one, we have a position in them, and number two, they really had a very strong bounce here at a very important area. This is the trend line off the 2007 low. It was also exactly the same trend line off the November 2018 low, and so far this month, which will end tomorrow, as I said, it hit exactly the same on this same trend line and has bounced a little. I could definitely see it back into the 153, 153 and a half, even if it doesn't continue higher, which really it shouldn't. But I'm just saying, our TLT 134s, if we got anywhere near that 153 and a half or so range, would be in the money. So I think that's working out to be a pretty good play. Okay, this morning I told you about IGMS. And they reported a beat, if you recall, and they also had they were going to do a deal. So the stock was up from 14.99 pre-open this morning. It was 20, up 501 or 30%, and it just continued all day. It traded as high as 35.98, closed 30.40, up 15.41, 103%. And the other one that I mentioned this morning, Dave and Buster's, symbol PLAY, which was trading at 40.80 pre-open, down 232, never came anywhere near that in the real world. It actually opened at 43.68, so that was actually up on the day, about $1.50. The low for the day was 43.55. The high was 50. It closed 49.53, up 641 or 15%. Apple has been on an ungodly run. I took several quarters away from some of my subscribers this past week by they were all wanting to be shorted, and it was 152, and I think my bet was 158 before 148. So I had twice the distance to go that they did, and today it closed 178.96, so you know how that went. This is the biggest run in Apple since 2003, and it finished up 336 today, or 1.9%. On the earnings front, we had Lulu and Micron. Lulu had closed 343.97, up 12. It traded as high as 374 after the numbers. The last on it is 370, up 38.22 or 11.5%. And MU had closed 82.05, up 219, and it's been higher recently. Traded as high as 87.35. Last is 85.40, up $5.54 or 6.8%. Tomorrow we have the third look at Q4 GDP. We have the ADP uh, numbers, and we have mortgage apps, and those ADP numbers ought to be somewhat interesting. We have non-farm payrolls, the big number, on Friday. All right, everyone. Just wanted to bring you all up to date, remind you that Dennis and I have a totally passive $25,000 account that just trades the metals. If you have any interest, please get to me. I'll be happy to send you the information about that and the performance. Have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning.